behavior coach with Success in Steps. Today, I'd like to speak to you briefly about managing toddler behaviors. And, first thing that I want to start off with is just to state that behaviors are absolutely normal. I have a lot of parents questioning whether or not it's okay for our kids to have meltdowns and, the screaming and the yelling and all that kind of things that happen in the stage of toddlers. And to that, I say 100% yes. It's normal for kids to have behaviors. It's their way of communicating. If you think about when your child was first born, their form of communicating, whether they were hungry, tired, needed a diaper change, they would cry because they can't speak. So how else are we going to communicate that we need something? So until our babies are able to start talking, whether it's one word or short phrases of what they want and need, they are going to engage in behaviors in order to attempt to communicate what it is until, you play that game of charades and guessing games with your child to figure it out. Now, with that, behaviors are always a means of communication. And so your child that when they're a toddler are trying to communicate whether they want your attention, whether they're trying to avoid doing something that you've asked, whether they're trying to get access to something, or whether it's just a sensory overload of an exposure of too much of something that their body's just not able to understand how to process it. The other thing is that with communication, until our children are able to speak, is that there are ways that we can encourage communication for our children. The first one would be a choice board. Now, a choice board is a simple piece of paper that you can either print out or that you can cut out different pictures and put their most preferred five to 10 items on there that they ask for often, that you can ask them to show you what they want so that they can point to it. And that way it just eases up a little bit of that frustration, what they're not able to tell you what they want, or you're not understanding what they want that day. You just can't read their mind. So a choice board is a great way to communicate that with your child. The other one is just to have pictures around the house so that they can show you as well by grabbing the picture for the item. So for kids that have a play area, if they want to access something, you can have pictures of those specific items outside and they can point to it, and then you can grab the appropriate bin for your child so that you can encourage the communication that, oh, you want Lego? Sure, I'll take out the Lego for you. And with respects to behavior as well, we always just want to make sure that we are responding to behaviors as opposed to reacting to behaviors. It's important to remember that our children will model our behaviors, the parents. The way that we respond or react to a situation is how we're teaching them to do the same. So I know when there's times whereby we are just overwhelmed, whether we had a busy day, whether the child has engaged in the same behavior over and over again, and it might be tough to not react. But if we take a deep breath and we do respond to the situation instead, it's really going to have a rippling effect with respects to your child is going to be understanding how to respond as well to a similar situation, or if that a child is able to just understand what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. So the other thing that I wanted to share is that when we are dealing with a behavior and we want to respond, we always want to try and throw some empathy in there as well. I see that you're frustrated, that your Lego fell apart. Would you like me to help you, or would you like to try again? When we start with empathy, we are building on the connection with our child. And when you have connection, you are able to communicate and they will start to listen to what you're trying to say. If you don't have the connection, then what happens is that we're just dealing with a child that is still overwhelmed, and rather than listening to you, they're blocking you. So those are just a few tips with respects to managing a toddler's behavior. I hope that you found them helpful. If you have any further questions, you can always reach out to me. My website is www.successinsteps.ca. Have a great day.